Imagine a force so powerful it can level cities in an instant. This force is not just a figment of imagination, it has been witnessed in the most devastating events in human history. The sheer magnitude of its power is both awe-inspiring and terrifying. This force comes from the atom, the tiny building block of all matter. Atoms are so small that millions of them can fit on the head of a pin, yet they hold the key to unimaginable energy. Atoms have a nucleus, their very own center. This nucleus is incredibly dense and contains nearly all the mass of the atom. Inside this nucleus live particles called protons and neutrons. These particles are bound together by a force that is one of the strongest known in nature. Protons have a positive charge like the plus sign on a battery. This positive charge is what makes protons repel each other, yet they are held together in the nucleus. Neutrons have no charge, they are neutral. They act as a buffer between the positively charged protons, helping to stabilize the nucleus. The number of protons determines what element an atom is. This is why the periodic table is organized by the number of protons in the nucleus of each element. For example, one proton means hydrogen, the simplest and most abundant element in the universe. Two protons mean helium, the second most abundant element, and so on. Each additional proton creates a new element with unique properties. It's like an atom's ID card. The number of protons is a unique identifier for each element. Holding these particles together is a tremendous energy, the binding energy, which is released in nuclear reactions. This binding energy is a secret the universe kept hidden for billions of years, only to be unlocked by human curiosity and scientific endeavor. Nuclear fission is the process of splitting an atom's nucleus. This process is fundamental to both nuclear power and nuclear weapons. It involves breaking the nucleus of an atom into two or more smaller nuclei, along with a few neutrons and a large amount of energy. Think of a fragile object like a delicate Christmas ornament. Just as this ornament can be easily broken with a slight touch, the nucleus of an atom can be split under the right conditions. When struck with enough force, it shatters into many pieces. Similarly, when a heavy atom's nucleus is hit by a neutron, it splits into smaller parts. In the same way, certain heavy atoms like uranium can be split when bombarded with neutrons. This bombardment causes the nucleus to become unstable and break apart. This splitting releases an immense amount of energy, much like the binding energy we talked about. The energy released during fission is what powers nuclear reactors and fuels nuclear bombs. The released neutrons then hit other uranium atoms, causing a chain reaction. This chain reaction is self-sustaining and can continue as long as there is enough fissile material. This chain reaction grows exponentially, releasing a devastating amount of energy in a very short time. That's a nuclear explosion. The energy released in such a short period can cause massive destruction, as seen in historical nuclear tests. If fission is splitting atoms, fusion is the opposite. It's about forcing atoms together. Stars, like our sun, are giant fusion reactors. They fuse hydrogen atoms into helium, releasing unimaginable amounts of energy in the process. Fusion bombs, also called hydrogen bombs, are even more powerful than fission bombs. They use a fission bomb as a trigger to create the extreme temperatures and pressures needed for fusion to occur. Section 4. The blast, a wave of destruction. The moment a nuclear bomb detonates, a fireball hotter than the sun forms. This fireball expands rapidly, creating a shock wave that travels faster than the speed of sound. This shock wave levels buildings, turning concrete and steel into dust. People caught in the open are vaporized instantly. The heat from the blast can cause third-degree burns miles away. The light produced is blinding, capable of causing temporary or permanent blindness. Section 5. The silent killer radiation. After the initial blast, the danger is far from over. Nuclear explosions release invisible, deadly radiation. This radiation is made of tiny particles that can damage cells and DNA. Exposure to high levels of radiation can cause radiation sickness, a gruesome illness with symptoms like nausea, vomiting, hair loss, and internal bleeding. Long-term effects include cancer, birth defects, and genetic mutations that can be passed down for generations. Section 6. A legacy of fear, a future of hope. Nuclear weapons represent humanity's potential for both destruction and progress. The same technology that can obliterate cities in an instant also holds the promise of a future powered by clean, sustainable energy. The duality of nuclear power is a stark reminder of our capacity for both creation and devastation. The science that unlocked the atom's power also gave us new ways to generate clean energy and treat diseases. From harnessing nuclear energy to reduce our carbon footprint to using radiation in medical treatments that save countless lives, the potential benefits are immense. Yet these advancements come with great responsibility. The future depends on the choices we make today. Leaders and communities must weigh the risks and rewards, making informed decisions that will shape the world for generations to come. The path we choose will determine whether we live in fear or hope. Will we continue to live under the shadow of nuclear annihilation, or will we use our knowledge to create a safer, brighter future for all humankind? The power is in our hands to either perpetuate a legacy of fear or to forge a new era of hope and prosperity. The answer, my friends, is not written in the stars but in ourselves. It is up to each of us to contribute to a world where the promise of nuclear technology is realized for the betterment of all, rather than its destruction.